Hi guys, welcome to the second lecture of Genetics CS159. In this video, I'm going to be talking about cell structure and organization of chromosomes. In the previous lecture, we talked about introduction to genetics, the objectives, course objectives, and some other stuffs. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the cell theory, classification of cells, which we group them into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. We talk about eukaryotic cells, some difference between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, and we talk about viruses. Okay, so let's get started. The first one, cell theory. Okay. So if you talk about the cell theory, it's a theory that says that living organisms are made up of cells that are the basic unit of life, and that all cells come from pre-existing cells. Okay. So as I said in the previous lecture, that genetics is like they really ask questions based on facts. Okay, so the cell theory is a theory that living organisms are made up of cells that are basic units of life, and that all cells are formed from pre-existing cells. Okay, so let's write down the theories. So the first theory is that cells are the basic units of organization. Okay, so cells are the basic units of organization. And in the levels of life, cells come together to make tissues. Tissues come together to make system, and systems to come together to make an organisms. Okay. So the other theory is that all organisms are made up of at least one cell. Okay. Organisms are made up of at least one cell. So you can put this in your head. Cells are the basic units of organization. Organisms are made up of at least one cell. And another theory is that cells derive from pre-existing cells. Okay. Cells are derived from pre-existing cells, and life progresses by enlargement and cell division. Okay, life progresses by enlargement and cell divisions. Progresses by enlargement and cell division, or division of cells. Okay, so these are the theories. Cells are the basic units of organization. At least one cell. Cells are derived from pre-existing cells. Life progresses by enlargement and cell division. Okay, so now let's talk about the classification of cells. Okay, so classification of cells. And with the classification of cells, every cell that exists can be grouped into two. We have the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Okay, so any cell can be grouped under either prokaryotes or eukaryotes. Okay, so let's talk about prokaryotes first. Okay, prokaryotes or prokaryotic cells. Okay, so when we talk about the prokaryotes, one thing you have to know about them is that their genetic material isn't stored within a membrane-bound nucleus. Instead, it is stored in a nucleoid that flows in the cell's cytoplasm. Okay, prokaryotic cells are normally small than eukaryotic cells, so their cells are normally smaller than eukaryotic cells, and their genetic material isn't stored within a membrane-bound nucleus, or it isn't stored in the nucleus. Okay, it is stored in a nucleoid that floats in the cell's cytoplasm. Okay, so let's take some notes about prokaryotes. Okay, so the first one, cells without nucleus. Cells without a true nucleus. Another one is that an example of that is bacteria of prokaryotic cell. You can talk about bacteria, blue-green algae. Okay, so bacteria and blue-green algae are all prokaryotic cells, and they are generally small. Generally small in size. Small in size. So you can talk about cells without, these are the keywords, without a true nucleus. They are generally small in size. Okay, so another one you can talk about is that they are unicellular. Okay, they are unicellular. Okay, they are unicellular. But when you talk about eukaryotes, some are unicellular and are also multicellular. Okay, and for prokaryotes, their DNA is organized in a single chromosome and no mitosis. There is no mitosis for prokaryotes. Okay, their DNA is organized into a single chromosomes and there is no mitosis too. Okay, so let's talk about the other classification, eukaryotes. Okay, so eukaryotes. When you talk about eukaryotes are organisms whose cells have a nucleus. Okay, they have a true nucleus. All animals, plants, fungi, and many unicellular organisms are eukaryotes. Okay, and some properties of eukaryotes is that they possess a true nucleus. Okay, unlike the prokaryotes who do not possess true nucleus. Okay, so true nucleus. Okay, this is the key word. They have a true nucleus, and some are unicellular. Okay, so an eukaryote can be multicellular or unicellular. Example is protist, amoeba. Okay, and when it comes to the similarities between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, both are enclosed in a plasma membrane. Okay, so now we have to take note of some things. That prokaryotic cells, their DNA is concentrated in a nucleid, but no membrane system separates this region from the rest of the cells. Okay, unlike the eukaryotic cells, which have true nucleus, and true nucleus, the nucleus is found inside the cytoplasm, but the nucleus has a membrane that separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm. Okay, it's bound by a membrane. Okay, so these two can be difference you can put in your head. Okay, for the prokaryotes, the DNA is concentrated into a nucleus, but the nucleus has no membrane that separates it from other organelles in the cell. Meanwhile, in the eukaryotes, the DNA has a true nucleus bound by a membranous nuclear envelope, so it separates it from the other organelles. Okay, so the last topic we are going to be discussing under cell structure and organization of chromosomes is viruses. So when we talk about viruses, what's viruses? So virus is an infectious microbe consisting of a segment of nucleic acid, which can be RNA or DNA. Okay, so viruses could either be RNA or DNA, and they are surrounded by a protein coat. So note that could be RNA, ribonucleic acid, or DNA. Okay, and they are surrounded by a protein coat. A virus cannot replicate alone. Instead, it must infect elements of the host cells to make copies of itself. Okay, so some notes you can take about this virus is that this cell called virus is that they have no typical structure. An example is the phage particle. Okay, phage particle. They are not really living organisms. They can be seen by a microscope, electron microscope, probably, and they could be RNA or DNA, and they cannot replicate on their own, and they are not really living cells. Okay, so yes, this is all for today, and thank you for watching the lecture 2 of Genetics CS159. See you in the other lecture. Any questions, please comment and like, subscribe for more videos. Thank you.